Cameras have always worked on one very basic principle. When you see something you want to capture, you just point it in that direction, turn a few cranks or press a few buttons, and bam! That memory is saved forever. But let's face it, in a world of hoverboards, virtual reality headsets, and apps for literally everything, we're lazy. And man, even pointing a camera sometimes is a lot of work. So let's invent something that takes photos of literally everything around you, instantly, in a 360-degree sphere. And let's call it the Insta360. Okay, so a 360-degree camera isn't a brand new concept. The Ryko Theta was released over a year ago, and videographers have already started experimenting with 6 GoPros attached to a 3D printed frame. But like any technology, early adopters miss out on a lot of features that may not be immediately available yet. This is the Insta360 4K. Right away, the name tells you something about it that no other consumer 360-degree camera has yet. 4K resolution. Granted, it's only 15 frames per second, but still, 4K does bring a lot more details compared to 1080p. Let's start with a physical tour. The Insta360 is pretty big compared to other cameras. It's built well though, with 2 glass lenses at the top sitting on a vented aluminum shell. There's an OLED display on top for quick settings and some LEDs on the top edge showing Wi-Fi status and battery life. At the bottom, you'll find ports for an external microphone, micro SD card, reset button, DC power adapter, and a micro USB port. Inside, you'll find a 5000 mAh battery capable of around 100 minutes of continuous recording, even when Wi-Fi is on and connected to the app. 100 minutes actually turns out to be a pretty good battery life because it's the exact same as a percentage indicator. You know that 68% will equal to about 68 minutes of recording, so on and so forth. No more having to guess what 20% actually means. You can also use the camera while plugged into a wall with an AC adapter or even a computer or power bank with 2 2.1 amp USB ports. Now they don't reveal too many details about the camera's sensors, but what we do know is that the 2 lenses are each capable of a 230-degree field of view. We're not sure why they're slightly offset, but luckily it doesn't cause any problems with the footage lining up. Now the bulk of the settings are accessed through the Insta360 Explorer app, which is currently still in beta. It's a bit slow to connect, but once it does connect, the Wi-Fi signal is pretty strong and we rarely lost the connection. Inside here you'll find access to your gallery and live shooting modes. Let's start with video recording. The app might not look that pretty, but it's very functional. At the top, you get a live view of the stitched together footage, and at the bottom, you get options for noise reduction, resolution, bitrate, exposure, ISO, and white balance. Our favorite part is the ability to pause and resume the live preview while recording. This way, you can easily frame your shot, check on the status every so often, but also maximize battery life. There's an automatic mode if you're not the type to fiddle with those things. Now, along with 4K recording, there's another feature that sets this camera apart from all the others, and it's not even technically advertised yet, and that feature is live streaming. Again, it's still in beta, but Anthony managed to dig around some Chinese forums and found a tutorial for live streaming using a piece of software called Insta360 Live Kit. We'll be honest, in its current form, it's not easy to do. There are 2 options, wireless streaming and wired streaming. Wireless streaming was easier since it acted like any other IP camera commonly used for home security. However, we had to drop the resolution a bit and use a bitrate of just 6 megabits per second in order not to have a laggy feed. You can stream with a wired connection via a USB OTG cable and a USB to Ethernet adapter, but we weren't able to get this method working even after trying out different brands of USB Ethernet adapters. Once you're connected, you can pair it with Open Broadcaster software and live stream it directly to YouTube in full 3D compatible mode. With the popularity of VR headsets lately, you can definitely expect to see more and more 360-degree live streams in the future. You get full compatibility with motion tracking headsets or just scrolling around with your mouse in a browser. Alright, enough of the features. Let's talk about the most important part, the video quality. We'll link a 360-degree video right here and in the description below so you can play around with it. The footage is very sharp, but only when you have good lighting. Bright sunny days outside or a fully lit studio look amazing. But even an overcast day or the inside of an average house are dim enough that you lose a lot of detail. It does slightly better in photo mode versus video mode, but let's face it, videos are just way cooler. All of the footage is stitched together in camera and recorded to their own proprietary INSV files. You will unfortunately need a special program called Insta360 Player to view them. However, they also provide an Adobe Premiere codec so you can import them and edit like any other video. And finally, while the INSV files are compatible with YouTube, you will need to inject them with the correct 360-degree video metadata in order for YouTube to process it correctly. YouTube provides this app and it's pretty simple to use, but it's an extra step you need to take. All in all, the Insta360 is a very good approach towards a higher-end 360-degree camera. While it may not be as accessible and user-friendly as something like the Ryko Theta or the Samsung Gear 360, the Insta360 tries to make up for it with 4K resolution and live streaming. But is that enough to justify the $800 price tag? Let us know in the comments